Hello everyone, and welcome to Total Television. We cannot deny that Eddie's bromance with the crazy, yet morally uptight symbiote, Venom, was undoubtedly the epic highlight of the 2019 movie. The ending introducing Cletus Kasady, however, is something we need to discuss. So much hype and fandom conspiracies have been made on what Cletus Kasady, aka Carnage's role, would be in the sequel. Well, don't worry about all that nonsense. What you guys should definitely know first is who Carnage really is, so you won't be lost when Venom 2 comes out. That's why we bring to you 10 things you need to know about Cletus Kasady before watching Venom 2. Make sure to watch until the end of the video to see why Cletus Kasady is so messed up. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, turn on the notification bell, and hit the subscribe button. Number 10. Killed his grandma. Being in an abusive family can really take a toll on a young boy, and even cause you to develop tendencies to seek revenge. Cletus had many abusers throughout his lifetime, his family being consistently horrible to him. And as you would expect, Cletus's breaking point had finally come. In Carnage Volume 2, Number 12, Cletus was just a little kid and his grandma sent him on an errand to get some cigarettes from a store. Even though Cletus returned with the wrong brand of cigarettes, his grandma wasn't having any of it and started what seemed to be a long tirade of verbal abuse on the young Cletus. She even continued to not only physically abuse him, but even force Cletus to call himself a bad boy several times. As you would expect, the inevitable happened and Cletus shoved the wheelchair-bound grandma down a flight of stairs. The first kill to start off his lifelong murder spree. Number 9. Killed his mom's dog. Okay, by now, it's sort of commonly accepted that anyone who even considers the thought of killing an animal, especially a dog, is just a certified psychopath. We all know from the comics that Cletus is by far worse than any other psychopath you will ever see or read about. Respect to Hannibal Lecter, though. During one of Cletus' sessions with Dr. Camille Pazzo at the Ravencroft Institute, he remarks that his mom is a liar and ends up confessing to Dr. Camille that he felt his mom loved her dog, Fifi, in Venom Carnage Unleashed Volume 1, Number 1, even more than him. He goes on to reveal how the dog died, making a mess in the family basement. However, what he is actually thinking about while he shares the story is how he killed the dog with a freaking power drill. His mom blames him for Fifi's death, but why would Cletus believe a liar? She is, of course, a liar in Cletus's eyes. This is why arguing with a psychopath is practically impossible. Number 8. Watched his dad kill his mom. From what you could tell in the previous entry on the list, Cletus definitely has issues with his mother. He attempted to electrocute her by throwing a hairdryer in her bathtub. Well, maybe. He was getting interviewed by Dr. Camille in the same Venom Carnage Unleashed Volume 1, Number 1, and recollected events that basically create continuity issues while looking through Carnage Volume 2, Number 12. As you would think, this could suggest Cletus' stories may either be delusional or purposely lying. He did share with Dr. Camille that his mom tried to use a knife to kill him. Before she could do that, his dad came home and just stopped her by using a hammer to kill her. Maybe this is what Cletus wished would have happened because this event contradicts a flashback he had in Carnage Volume 2, Number 12, where he revealed that Cletus' father was beating him with a belt and the mother came in the nick of time to stop the father. However, the father strikes the mother with so much conviction that it causes her neck to break on a coffee table and effectively kill her. Number 7. Burn down an orphanage. Based on how abusive his family was to him, Cletus was at one point orphaned, and he eventually got sent to the St. Estes Home for Boys. Even while he was in an orphanage, the abuse he experienced just kept on coming. He even got rejected when he asked a girl out on a date for the first time. As a result of her rejection, Cletus pushes her in front of a bus. That did not end well. From there, he went on his first mass murder spree when he decided to kill the orphanage's disciplinarian administrator. As you would expect from someone like Cletus by now, he proceeded to burn down the entire orphanage. He burnt it down to the ground. Intriguingly enough, Spider-Man's first ever encounter with Carnage happens at the exact location where the destroyed ruins of the orphanage are, in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Number 361. Talk about symbolic. Number 6. Eddie Brockselmy. Considering the continuity being made from the first Venom film seems to differ a bit from the comics, this backstory may be told in a different light. However, in the comics, the creation of the blood-hungry, merciless, and murder-loving monster we know as Carnage was based on the luck of Cletus being Eddie's cellmate. While both were serving time at the Rikers Island Penitentiary, Cletus does try to persuade and convince Eddie that anyone can decide to kill. so long as they have the guts to do it. As you would imagine, Eddie was definitely not in agreement with Cletus's psychotic worldview, and this sort of stained their relationship. While having a flashback in Carnage Volume 2, Number 12, it reveals that Eddie found out that Cletus was responsible for a large number of murders of innocent people, and subsequently went on to beat Cletus into a pulp. Cletus begged and begged Eddie to stop, but Eddie didn't care. Unknowingly to Eddie, his symbiote had already given birth to an offspring, while he used the symbiote to escape Rikers. The offspring bonded with Cletus, and the rest, as they would say, is history. Number 5. Cellular Control of the Symbiote. Going through these comics really reveals some tragic and sadistic stuff that Cletus went through. However, there are some incidents that don't necessarily affect your mental health. In Venom Carnage Unleashed Volume 1, Number 1, Cletus revealed that he can control his symbiote at a cellular level. Sounds completely insane, right? Well, while he was imprisoned at the Ravencroft Institute, Cletus had computer privileges based on his doctor feeling he had made a lot of progress. That decision definitely came back to haunt him. He decided to use those privileges to reduce the symbiote down to an individual cell at a microscopic level. It was so small that it could even travel through the internet. So as you can see, Carnage can make himself become a digital code and then convert that code into a data stream that can be transmitted across any digital network. As a result, he can physically be anywhere there's a computer connected to a network. This is why some psychopaths don't even deserve privileges. Number 4. Survive space. There have been many attempts made to kill Carnage permanently. However, when his symbiote is that good, it becomes practically impossible to kill. In New Avengers Volume 1, Number 2, Carnage escaped during a breakout at the Raft, a huge supervillain prison facility, and has a really interesting encounter with Sentry. He then proceeds to grab Carnage and fly him directly to space, where he mercilessly and efficiently tears Carnage in half. You would think at this point that both Cletus Kasady and the symbiote would be dead, right? Well, with not many options, the symbiote still finds a way to keep itself and Cletus alive, by making them dormant for the time being. A competitor to Tony Stark, Michael Hall discovers Carnage's still body, and that had crashed into one of his satellites and brings him back to Earth. Hall does try to separate the symbiote from Cletus, but couldn't, as the symbiote and Cletus are basically one at this point. This is some scary stuff right here. Number 3. Killed his teddy bear. We all had that childhood pet or toy that we always made sure was by our sides at all times. Well, if you didn't have one, then wow, what kind of childhood did you have? Anyways, back to Cletus Kasady. He had a childhood teddy bear named Binky. Sounds really cute, right? Well, when Spider-Man was hunting the murder lover, a lot of clues led him to the orphanage where Cletus grew up. Technically, the burnt remains of the orphanage. Spidey hears what seems to be a voice of a little kid, but is actually a completely naked Cletus Kasady sitting close to a fire, having a conversation with Binky. Cletus finally notices Spidey and transforms into Carnage. During the transformation, he unfortunately shreds the teddy bear in half. Cletus recalls Spidey's spying as the cause of Binky's demise. Well, if he could kill a stuffed animal, what hope do we have? Number 2. Rock music fan. Ever wondered what a crazed sociopath's favorite song would be? For Cletus, it's Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd. In the Avengers and X-Men Axis Volume 1, Number 8 comic, Carnage decides to sacrifice himself, shocker, by containing the explosive effects of a gene bomb. Before his quite devastating end, he asks Spider-Man to ensure that there is a memorial made of jewels, gold, and even rhinestones honoring him. The memorial had to be draped with the Confederate flag and located right in the middle of the most liberal city imaginable, New York City. The memorial had to play Freebird around the clock, and it was even revealed in Nova Volume 5, Number 27, that Cletus has a deep love for the metal band Anthrax. He even remarked that the symbiote made Cletus listen to the band and their music with his headphones. What a way to remember a truly murderous savior. Number 1. Symbiote Soulmate. Our last entry to the list is probably one of the more sadistic and psychopathic traits of Cletus's relationship with the symbiote. He basically sees the symbiote as his soulmate and considers him being united with the symbiote as his one and true self. This is essentially a true romance, but with two demented and messed up partners. Funny enough, Cletus always referred to the symbiote as Mrs. Even in Venomized Volume 1, Number 3, Cletus does get separated from his original symbiote and bonds with another. He isn't happy about it and wants the original symbiote to come back by all means. He even threatens to kill anyone who doesn't want him to get paired with his real self. There are even times where he calls out to the symbiote, beckoning it to come and reassuring himself that he will find his precious symbiote. This kind of love is the one that can lead to the destruction of the entire world. A true sociopath doesn't understand the concept of love. All he wants is just to be with the one he desires, and anything that stops him from doing that ultimately gets swept aside in the most gruesome of manners. The symbiote is the closest thing to Cletus, and as a result, he cannot imagine himself not being bonded with it. Twisted love is quite sickening, but impressively terrifying. What do you think? Is Cletus Kasady's behavior justified? Leave your opinion in the comments below. If you haven't already hit the like button, do it now. Likes help grow the channel. And don't forget to subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell to receive more video content. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching Total Television, and see you in our next video.